Fred Guttenberg exemplifies the values of both of these awards and responded righteously to the universe's call upon him to lead. Last year, the moment I got off the planet IC in Orlando, my parents called and told me that my cousin Jamie had been shot and killed in school that day. Through our grief, it has been Fred's voice and willingness to act that has inspired me and so many of our peers to stand up for school safety. To me, Fred is still that same uncle whose hat I like to rub for luck, but unfortunately, this enormous tragedy has also led him to dedicate his life to pursuing justice in Jamie's memory, which he has done by starting a charity organization called Orange Ribbons for Jamie and by working to end gun violence. Whether at the state legislature in Florida, in the halls of Congress, on national television and Supreme Court proceedings, or on nightly news broadcasts, Fred has been unwavering in his commitment that no other parent will have to endure what our family has gone through. While this week is a particularly hard week for my Uncle Fred, as we mark the 1-year anniversary of Jamie's passing, when we invited him to join us at IC, he felt a true desire and calling to be here and inspire us. Please join me in welcoming my uncle, Fred Guttenberg.
Let me just move this over here. Imagine with me, if you would, a perfect day. The sun is shining. You just found out you aced your test. You're busy laughing with your friends, maybe passing a note to a boyfriend or a girlfriend. It's a perfect day. And then all of a sudden, boom! One single shot. Just like that. You're the newest victim of gun violence. For me, that sound is real. It could have been anyone. It was my daughter, Jamie. I live with that sound in my head every single day and imagining Jamie's final seconds. So I have a serious question for all of you. Who here wants to get shot? Good. Well, if you don't want to, today is the day you make sure your voices are heard. Today is the day that our new generation of leaders step up and fight back. Today is the day where you all decide you are going to be heroic and fight for your safety. Let me take a few minutes to tell you my story. Back on October 17th of 2017, I lost my brother to the cancer that came from his service in the 9/11 World Trade Center tragedy. I remember 9/11 as if it happened yesterday. The frantic calls between the family, nobody had heard from Michael. Michael's office was right near the World Trade Center. He was at the time doing a fellowship with the New York Fire Department, and he was the deputy medical director of the New York Fire Department. His office was across the street. Like all first responder heroes, he ran in when others ran out. He and a group of other physicians were in the World Trade Center when it collapsed. And amazingly, the room that they hid out in did not collapse. When all the noise and rumble of the collapsing stopped, my brother and this team of physicians did what all heroes did. They went to work, and they spent 16 days at ground zero. Following the events of that day, Michael went on to live a great life and have a great career. That was until his pancreatic cancer diagnosis from 9/11, about 5 years before his eventual passing. He had surgery, chemo, radiation, and was declared cancer-free, and remained that way until 2016. Michael was not married, he did not have kids, and I spent the rest of 2016 and most of 2017 going back and forth to take care of my brother. At my brother's funeral in October of 2017, I remember being both depressed over his loss and amazed at the funeral that was given to him. He was buried with full honors from the New York Fire Department, emergency service vehicles from all over the place, flag draped over the road, helicopter flyovers. And for any of you here from New York, they closed down this. They closed the Southern State Parkway, and you know that's a big deal. That's where I grew up. There had to be at least 500 people there. I certainly thought I'd never be a part of another funeral like that, not one even more overwhelming with more people. Unfortunately, I was. Only 4 months later, while still mourning the loss of my brother with the love of our family, my family was again struck by tragedy. Only this time, it was far worse. It was February 14th, the day of love, and it started in my house like any other, with chaos. My kids were running late, my dogs were barking, my wife and I needed to get out the door. That's what I remember about that morning. What I also remember, and what haunts me, is rushing my kids out the door. You got to get to school. You got to go. You're going to be late. That's what I remember about that morning. It's what I don't remember about that morning that I can't get rid of. I was so busy rushing my kids out the door that I may have missed that one extra minute to say to my daughter the very last time I saw her the words, "I love you." It wasn't supposed to be the last minute. My daughter was killed at school that day. My daughter was the toughest person I knew. She fought for her life until the very last second, running down the hall with an active shooter with an AR-15 at her back. My son called me that day and he said, "Dad, there's a shooter at my school." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And my son can be a joker. But then he said, "And I can't find Jamie." And I knew he was serious. He ran, and while he was running, he was hearing the bullets that were killing his sister. Thankfully, my son Jesse was not harmed. One single shot, Jamie running down the hallway, making a turn. One more second, she's in the stairwell. One single shot severed her spinal cord. I don't know if my daughter died instantly. I don't know if she suffered. I live with her final seconds in my head. The reason I do what I do today, the reason I stand here before all of you today, is because we need to stop this violence. Everyone says, give it time. It'll get easier. It doesn't. Every day is a new reminder. We just had the 1 year, I hate calling it an anniversary, but that's, I guess, what it was. There's birthdays, there's holidays, there's Mother's Day, there's Father's Day. There's days of the new Facebook memory. Every day is a new reminder of what we've lost. I miss my kid more with every passing day. I miss not having my brother around to help me when I need it most. My only hope is that they are somewhere together and that my daughter is taking care of my brother, because I'm sure it's not the other way around. She was that kind of a kid. On February 15th, the day after the murder, I attended a vigil in Parkland. I was asked by our mayor if I wanted to speak, and I said yes. I didn't prepare, but I had a lot I needed to say. It was the beginning of my public life. My life is now forever changed as my public role continues to evolve. What I remember about that week is the decision that my approach needed to be different. My nephew Matthew, who you all just saw, may remember what I said most of that week, which is, I'm going to break that effing gun lobby and go after their money. I wasn't interested at the time in legislators or legislation. The truth is, they had spent the past 20 years failing on this issue. I wanted to go after the lobby that held the legislators and legislation hostage. And so far, we are succeeding. What I remember from the vigil that night is the feeling that I described to the crowd. And what I said was, I feel broken. What has helped me to heal, to be quite honest, is the greatness of people. People like all of you. People who step up and want to do the right thing. The truth is, in both of the tragedies that I've been through the past year, I've seen the best of this country, and yeah, I've also seen some of the worst, but it is the best that has dominated and helps me to go forward with the strength that I need every day. It is the greatness of people that gives me strength and inspiration. It is the greatness and power of this generation, all of you, that inspires me and convinces me that we will succeed and we will get this done. I am determined to lead an effort for change in our public safety, and we are succeeding in ways that has not happened before. The change is being seen in both the business world, legislative victories, and the weakening of the NRA. We will make them as irrelevant as the tobacco lobby is today. We've not seen another 9/11 event in this country because of the amazing efforts of many in this country to take the steps to ensure it does not happen again. I am hoping that we can lead a similar effort on gun safety. These are two distinctly American tragedies. In one, America stood up and took action. In the other, America is standing up and will take action. No other family should go through what my family is going through now. As someone who has suffered through these two distinctly American tragedies, I feel I have no choice but to do everything in my power to make sure that families, kids, adults are protected. You all need to go home to mom and dad, but you know what? Mom and dad need to be safe and they need to come home to you. In our country right now, 40,000 people per year die of gun violence. That's more than traffic accidents. As I stand here talking to you tonight, somebody is learning they're the latest victim of gun violence. Somebody just got done burying a victim of gun violence, and somebody is busy planning a funeral for a victim of gun violence. That is not normal, and that requires all of us to step up and take action. I want to tell you all, we have levels of strength and resilience that we are not aware of until we are tested. In my life, I've been unemployed and worried about how to pay bills. I've been a corporate employee with the highs and the lows that go with that. I've owned my own business for a bunch of years with the highs and the lows that go with that. What I can tell everyone in this room with certainty, none of it comes close to what I'm experiencing now. So to the kids in this room, I want to tell you this. My prior worst moments do not compare. So here's my lesson to you. Learn the lesson of perspective. Understand your resilience. Remember my story when you're going through what seems like a bad moment or the worst moment in school or on the job in business, or in life. And then think about all those other moments beforehand where you once felt the same way. They passed. You got through it. I want to tell you, those moments in life when they do come are your chances and opportunities for greatness. It is in life's hardest moments that our country's heroes and leaders are born. So to close, I am certain that I am looking out at a room full of heroes and leaders right now. Some of you just don't know it yet. How you respond to your moments when they come will define you. I look forward to watching all of you in the years ahead, maybe the days ahead or the months ahead, as you step up and you become our future generation of heroes and leaders. We need you. Thank you.
Presenting your 27th International Imha Havaro, Marissa Aronson, and your 30th Grand Olive Shaliach, Liam McLean.
As we grapple with an increasingly polarized world, true acts of unity are hard to find. But we know better than anyone that only civility can inspire progress.